Welcome everyone to our first online class. I'm working very hard to make these classes as close as possible to what you would have experienced in the classroom with me. So these are still participation based. There's one assignment every week and you'll just log in, find the yoga video, watch and participate, and then respond to the questions to let me know how it went for you. A little bit about our class. So these videos, I'll try and keep them to about an hour. Our class would have been about an hour and a half. So there's always a little bit of time for the lecture, and then there's our actual practice, and then I always like to give you a nice long guided meditation at the end. So if you're doing the yoga video and you're watching the time, oh, there's still 40 minutes left, know that like a good 10 minutes of that at the end is just relaxation and guided meditation. So we'll start off real gentle, and then we'll work our way up to some really hard postures. A little bit about this class. So here at BYU we teach Ashtanga Vinyasa Yoga, which basically means that I am pulling from K. Patabi Joyce's primary series. So you can look it up online if you're curious. Primary series is a set sequence of postures that usually takes anywhere from an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and a half. And I will be drawing challenge poses from primary series every day, but I've created our own flow for each week to keep things interesting for you. So a little bit more about this online content. So there's the assignment, which is the main thing. That's where your grade comes from. And then there's also discussion boards where you can just post and comment and chat with each other that I've provided. And then in addition, there is course content, which provides supplemental material to every video. So all you really need to do is just watch the video and participate to get your credit for the class. I don't want this to be a stressful class. But if you find, oh, I love that flow and I'm curious about that challenge posture, or I'm curious about this, go into course content and you'll find a tab that corresponds with this week, with each video, to give you the written names of the things we talk about, and even supplemental videos on different ways you can look at doing some of the challenge poses. So I'd highly recommend browsing that when you would like. But a lot of this extra content I've just created for you. So I want you to take this class and make it be what you need it to be. If you have a really intense workload and all you have time for is just to get in and do that video once a week, do that. If you're taking this class because you'd really love to learn more about the philosophy and details of yoga, by all means get into that content folder and have fun exploring, because I've really taken some time to think about what might be most useful to you in there. And then a little bit about how our class flow will go. So generally, as I'm creating these flows, we take a moment in the beginning to find our breath, and then we do our sun salutation warm-ups. This first video is just going to be all mostly about the breath and the warm-ups. And then we do some standing postures, some seated postures, generally some kind of back bend, and then some kind of inversion, which means the hips are above the heart. And we'll work up to those, but that's the general flow of class. And then there's usually always at least one or two balancing postures and one or two twists for the back, just so we get a good full body workout. So that is pretty much it for what you can expect for the flow of class. We always end with Shavasana. Typically Shavasana is where you just lay on your mat and relax and breathe. But I like to add guided meditations in ever so often for class, because I have heard back from my students that they find that to be beneficial. So sometimes it will just be you in your own space, eyes closed, practicing traditional Shavasana. A lot of the times it will be a guided meditation. And then just a little bit about the tools for class. So you'll want to make sure you get a yoga mat. You can practice yoga without a mat. A mat's just one more prop, but I would highly recommend getting one. They can be purchased very cheaply from Walmart or Amazon. But if yoga is something that you know you already love and want to keep doing throughout your life, I would recommend getting a professional mat. This is the Manduka brand. It's the brand that most yoga studios recommend. So highly recommend getting a good mat if you can, or getting a cheap one just for now if you're just going to try out this class and see if you like yoga. Something else, you may want to get a yoga strap. So once again, anything will work for a strap. You could just buy some cord at Joann's and it would work great. This is just cording. But I purchased this on Amazon. It duals as a mat carrier. So I think that's kind of nice that it carries my yoga mat and I can use it as a strap for stretching. Like if I can't reach my toes, I can use my strap. So this can be really handy to have, but once again, it's optional. Some people will just use a towel or like a hand towel or regular towel as a strap. So lots of flexibility there. And then something else you may want to consider are blocks. I will show how to use blocks in class, but I'll also try and show you how to modify if you don't have blocks. Modification without blocks, sometimes people will just use like a stack of books, or there's postures where you could just grab like on your leg instead of using the block. But the blocks are really helpful. So if you have the time to invest in blocks, it's nice to get two if you can. The cork blocks are nicer. They are, if you're working on using blocks for things like arm balances, these are the best. And they're about $10 a piece online on Amazon. The other kind of block you can get, these are a little bit cheaper. They're about $5 and they're foam. And these were great for a lot of things as well. A lot of balancing postures, things like that. These are great. The only thing you would really want the cork blocks for are when we're like pressing into them with our arms, jumping through, doing float throughs later on in class. The cork blocks would come in handy. But once again, just props that are fun to have. If you don't have a way or means to purchase any of these, yoga can just be done anywhere. It can be done on the grass, without a mat, in your house, on the carpet. So don't stress out, but if you would like to get some of these extra tools, you can. And make sure that you take the time to check out our syllabus. Make sure and read through so you know how the points for this class work. Make sure you take time to introduce yourself, and then of course respond to this. And all of that is in assignment 1. So I look forward to hearing from each of you. Please join me for this sun salutation and breath workshop. Let's begin class by finding a nice deep belly breath. In and out through the nose. You may wish to put one hand on your stomach, one on your heart, so you can feel your stomach rising and then your chest rising with the inhale, and feel the chest and stomach sinking with the exhale. This also just gives you a moment to bring your focus inward, to tune out outside noises and distractions. This is also a great time to set an intention for class. Your intention is a positive statement in the present tense that you will think of throughout class. For today, if you would like, you can use my intention, which is my breath brings me deeper. Now let's take a moment to learn about the Ujjayi breath. Ujjayi breath is the victorious breath. The Ujjayi breath is used specifically in Ashtanga Vinyasa Yoga to help you set a pace and rhythm for yourself. So remember this, your breath is the most important part of your practice. It helps link your mind to what you're doing so that your mind can get the benefits of the moving meditation that is yoga. So if at any point you find your breath becomes shallow, take a moment to pause in child's pose, find that breath. Or if at any point you find your mind wandering, take a moment to bring it back to the breath. Let your breath support you throughout your practice. Now, some details about the Ujjayi breath. It's a deep breath in and out through the nose, and there's a gentle engagement of the throat. We can find that engagement by imagining that we're going to fog up a glass. So go ahead and take one hand, place it in front of your mouth. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose and exhale through the mouth like you're fogging up a glass. Now see if you can find that same sound on the inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now see if you can find it with the mouth closed. Inhale. Exhale with the mouth closed. Two more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. If you'd like to learn more about the Ujjayi Breath, see the course content folder for another wonderful tutorial. And the inhale, you'll find it's a little bit trickier to engage the throat. That's very normal. This breath comes with time, but it is a wonderful way to practice focusing on the moment. So we do try and keep this breath going throughout our whole practice if you can. You'll find those times when you really focus on this, you'll feel a huge difference in your practice. Mentally, you'll feel more refreshed by the end of your practice. Let's now take a moment to stretch out our necks, rolling the neck back and forth, moving with your breath, and see how this feels to pair the Ujjayi breath with movement. So we're just stretching the neck shoulder to shoulder, little half circles here, breathing with our movement. That might be slower or faster than me in the video. Please move to your own breath. Now coming back to a neutral neck, and let's prepare to take some little cat-cow stretches. So inhale, looking up. Exhale, grabbing under the knees, tucking the chin, rounding the back. We're warming up the back here. Inhale, opening through the heart, arching the back. Exhale, pulling on the knees, rounding the back. Following your own breath, keeping that Ujjayi breath with you if you can. Inhale, open through the heart. Exhale, opening through the back. Let's come back to a neutral spine now. And now making this motion 3D with the heart leading, we're going to take some gentle circles, leading forward, rounding backward, arching, opening through the heart as you come forward, rounding as you scoop backward. And as you can see, I'm using my hands to help me. I'm pressing on my knees or pulling on my knees to really get some nice motion in my spine. For any of you that have tension in the lower back or upper back, neck, and shoulders, this can be a great way to start out class. I'm just doing 5 one direction and then switching to the other direction, noticing if this feels a little different. Still following your own breath. Nice and deep. Inhale as you come forward. Exhale all the air out as you round back. So good. Thank you, everyone. Taking this time to warm up in the beginning can be really helpful if you're doing this first thing in the morning or doing this after sitting for a long time, if you're stiff. Let's now make our way to the top of our mats to talk about our sun salutations. The sun salutations are very important. They're our warm-up, and they are your foundation. It's going to help you build arm strength and core strength to help you do the other postures in class. So it's very important that our alignment is good. Go ahead and inhale the arms up. Exhale as you fold. Pause here. Now, if you find any tension in your lower back, you're going to make sure to keep a micro bend in those knees. You can bend the knees as much as you need. Notice we don't want to bend from the lower back. Sometimes the hamstrings can pull on that lower back and pull the hips under. We want to make sure that we are bending and hinging from the hips and that back is nice and straight. So bend those knees as much as you need to. Then let the arms reach down as far as they can. And then inhale, half lift. For our half lift, we're lengthening. Chin is tucked. We're just looking up and lengthening through the back of the neck. And we can be lengthening with hands on the shins if that's more comfortable for you. So either hands on the ground or hands on the shins, depending on how low your fold is. Then from here, you can either step back or you can jump back. If you jump back, you're just shifting the weight into the hands and shoulders and jumping the feet back. I like to take the step back for the first few, or if I'm not warm yet, it's a good option. For my chaturanga, showing you here, you can take it from your feet, or you can take the chaturanga push-up from your knees. So it's a tricep push-up. Keep those elbows squeezed in the whole time, squeeze close to your sides. And then we come into upward facing dog, which is I'm pressing through the tops of my feet. I'm lengthening forward to protect the lower back. So I'm bending quite a bit in my lower back. You can keep it out of the lower back by pulling the core up and in and just lengthening forward. If there's ever any pain in your lower back, that's what you'll want to do. You want to protect that lower back by engaging the abs, lengthening forward through the top of the neck. Now, a few other options you have for your chaturanga push-up. So I'm just showing you, you can take it all the way down, and instead of taking upward dog, pressing in the tops of the feet, you can take cobra and be pressing through the forearms. This is just keeping it in my upper back. If I have any lower back issues, that's a nice option. And then a few other options you have here is instead of going right back into downward dog, you can go back into child's pose. That can feel nice. Child's pose is always an okay go-to. If there's ever a posture that you don't feel up to or don't feel warm enough to do, you can go into child's pose and find that Ujjayi breath again. Pressing back into downward dog, I'll just show you. Place hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips to check your downward dog and see if your spacing between hands and feet is good. In downward dog, we're just making a nice triangle with our body. If those hamstrings are tight, you can pedal the legs, bending one knee, then the other. It's okay if your heels don't yet reach your mat. That comes with time as the hamstrings become more flexible. But we're reaching the heels down towards the mat. We're tucking the belly up and in. We're pressing through the hands, broadening through the shoulders, creating length in downward dog. You might feel uncomfortable for those shoulders or for those wrists at first, but they should feel better after a while, after a few weeks of doing this. And then after you hold the downward dog for 5 breaths, generally we jump forward. So go ahead and jump forward with me. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold all the air out. Inhale, drink in that breath all the way up. Exhale, arms to your side. Let's do another sun salutation A little bit faster this time. Inhale, lifting the arms up. Exhale, fold, hinging from the hips. All the air out. Inhale, half lift, lengthen through the neck. Exhale, plant the hands, step or jump the feet back. Pick your chaturanga option. Maybe taking the full chaturanga all the way through to upward facing dog. And now, shooting those hips back for downward facing dog. Breathing here. We usually take 5 deep breaths in downward dog. So with every inhale, think of lengthening back through your tailbone. With every exhale, think of pressing the heels towards your mat, pressing through the pads of your fingers to take some strain off those wrists. Now inhale, jump those feet forward, half lift and lengthen through the neck. Exhale all the air out, let those arms hang. Inhale, drink in the breath all the way up. Exhale, coming to attention, what we call samastitihi. Beautiful. That's one full sun salutation A. All right, let's go ahead and do one more. Inhale, reaching the arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold, hinging from the hips, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. That's half fold. Ardha means half. Exhale, step or jump the feet back. Find a nice flat back. My back's a little bit high here. Try and flatten your back if you can. Nice push-up position. And then take your chaturanga all the way down. Inhale up. And from here, we're going to sit back into child's pose. We're going to take a second and talk just a little bit more about our chaturanga push-up. Because of all of the things that are difficult in our sun salutations, it's the chaturanga push-up. And the chaturanga push-up is so important. That's where we build a lot of that arm strength. So take a breath or two here in child's pose, and then go ahead and come up to sitting. And we're just going to talk about our arm engagement in that push-up for a second. So bring your hands out in front of you. And then a lot of times when we do push-ups, we're watching our hands on the way down. When you're doing a tricep push-up, you do not want to do that, because if you're trying to keep the elbows tucked in and looking at the hands, you're going to really strain that shoulder head. So we want to make sure the hands are down by our side. We're looking way out past the hands as we come down. It's going to feel a little bit different, but see, look at that. That shoulder's torquing forward. That's going to hurt your rotator cuff. Make sure you're squeezing the arms by the side. Those hands are down by your waist. When you come all the way down, you're looking way out past the fingertips. And that's just going to feel so much better in the back. You also want to be engaging those rhomboids and traps. So go ahead and bring your hands up. See if you can feel that engagement through your back. Now twist your pinkies in towards your ears and notice if you can feel that spiraling, the bicep and tricep pulling backwards, spiraling up and around your arm bone outwards. And then notice now, switch that and twist the pinkies in and notice the opposite spiraling of the forearm. So that upper arm is spiraling back and the lower arm is spiraling inward. Come to hands and knees now and notice if you can feel this, that upper arm spiraling outward, lower arm spiraling inward as you press through your hands. Broaden through the shoulders. See if you can feel your shoulders engage. Feel those muscles under your shoulder blades engage. Lower down, looking way out past the hands. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. So good. Hopefully you felt a difference there. Let's go ahead and slow down our breathing here in downward facing dog. And now inhale, step or jump forward, half lift. Exhale, fold all the air out. Inhale, drink in that breath all the way up. Exhale, samastitihi. Coming to attention. Let's take a moment now to talk about the bandhas. The bandhas are energy locks in the body. It's what's going to make the difference between you really getting good at yoga quickly and you injuring yourself in yoga. So the bandhas are different inner muscles that we engage to help find length and stability. The first one is Jalandhara Bandha, that's our neck. You're going to tuck your chin, lengthen through the back of the neck. This protects the back of the neck in any of the postures where we're lengthening. The next bandha is Hasta Bandha. Hasta means hand. You're pressing through the thumb and index finger, pressing through the pads of the fingers in a gentle cupping shape in your hand to protect yourself. When we're doing downward facing dog, it protects your wrist. It'll also help you in some of our arm balances. And then the next bandha is Uddiyana Bandha. That is our navel, right below the belly button. So not only your transverse abdominis, but even just imagine any muscle tissue beyond that pulling up and in from your very center. That's going to protect your lower back. And then there's Mula Bandha. That's the perineum, the pelvic floor, those bicycle seat muscles pulling up and in. Now I'm just going to show you I'm totally relaxed here. And then I engage Uddiyana Bandha, I engage Mula Bandha, and instantly it gives me that stability through my core to have good alignment and to protect my whole back. So those two are very important for protecting the back. The last one is Pada Bandha. That's my feet. Go ahead and lift your toes. Place your toes back down, pressing through the pads of the feet. That's going to help you when you balance, to feel that gentle pressing and just noticing that gentle lift in your arch of your feet. Quick review of the bandhas. Jalandhara Bandha, tuck the chin, lengthen through the neck. Hasta Bandha, press through the fingers. Uddiyana Bandha, lower navel up and in. Mula Bandha, bicycle seat muscles gently engaged. Pada Bandha, the feet, pressing through the pads of the feet. Now see if you can feel these bandhas at work as we learn Sun Salutation B. Inhale, sitting back into chair pose. Notice that if you have the bandhas, you won't be rounding your back like this. You won't have the pelvis tucked under. Notice that with those core bandhas engaged, you'll have a nice neutral pelvis and a nice neutral spine. Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha here, really helping, even Jalandhara Bandha as we lengthen through the neck. Make sure those feet are stepped close together so the legs can squeeze together. Exhale, fold. Feel that lower belly tuck up and in. Uddiyana Bandha, lengthen out. Feel your neck lengthening. Take your chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, strong core. Exhale, downward facing dog. Maybe feel that lower belly pull up to help you lengthen. Step the right foot forward. Inhale all the way up to Warrior One. Now pausing here in Warrior One, check your back foot. If your toes are facing out to the side, that's going to really hurt your knee over time. So you got to make sure that those toes are angled forward at least 45 degrees. For some of you, that might feel really intense on the hamstring. So it's okay to have the heel up if you need. Also make sure that that knee in the front is right above the ankle. You don't want that knee going out past the toes. That'll hurt that front knee. So just showing one more time here that it's totally okay to have that back heel lifted if you need. If that's too tight on the back of the leg to have the toes angled forward and the heel down, lift that back heel. There's never any knee stretching in yoga, so at any time if your knees are hurting, make sure you definitely change what you're doing. We want to protect the knees. All right, so that's our Warrior One, our Virabhadrasana A posture. We usually just spend one breath in that posture. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha, pressing through the tops of the feet. Exhale, Adho Mukha, lengthening back through the tailbone. Noticing now bringing the left foot forward. Finding that Warrior One on the other side. Check your back toes. You might even like to widen your stance a little bit to help with that balance, like feet on a train track. Feet at least hip width apart. And hips squared forward. And after a while, this will just feel natural. The right alignment will feel natural. Go ahead and take a Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And noticing the bandhas at work here. If your wrists are sore, you can come down to your forearms for dolphin. This is a good modification for those of you that may have had wrist injuries or carpal tunnel. You can also always take child's pose if you need during our downward facing dog. So lots of different variations. I know we're taking it so slow learning about these in the beginning, but this will help later on when we move through them quickly. Inhale, go ahead and step or hop forward, half lift. Exhale, fold all the air out. Inhale, squeeze the legs together, sitting back into chair pose. Exhale, Samastiti, coming to attention. All right, let's go ahead and try another. Let's put it all together. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. I'm going to show you here. You can try one from your knuckles if you want. I'm making a fist and taking chaturanga from my fist. That's another option for those of you that have issues with the wrist, as well as dolphin on the forearms. Inhale. Warrior one. Check those back toes. Exhale. Chaturanga, squeezing those elbows in. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha. Exhale, Adho Mukha. Inhale, left foot comes forward. Warrior one on the other side. Check the back toes. Check that front knee. And Chaturanga. Inhale, feel those bandhas helping you as you lengthen in upward dog and lengthen in downward dog, helping them protect your lower back, helping them keep that spine nice and long, finding length in every posture that we're in, finding length with every breath. My breath draws me deeper. Inhale, step or hop forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, Samastiti. Inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, Chaturanga push-up. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha. Exhale, Adho Mukha. Inhale, right foot, Virabhadrasana A. Exhale, Chaturanga, strong core and arms. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, lengthen back. Inhale, Warrior one on the other side. Reach, strong core. Think of the bandhas. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha. Exhale, Adho Mukha. And breathe. Uddiyana Bandha pulling up and in, helping you lengthen in downward dog. Perhaps lengthening on the inhale, perhaps pressing on the exhale. Inhale, step or hop forward, lengthen, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, Samastiti. Thank you for taking the time to workshop our warm-up. Next class, it will only take 5 to 10 minutes. Let's go ahead and come to the top of our mat. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, find a nice forward fold. Wrap the peace fingers around the big toes if you can. And we're lengthening. Bend the knees as much as you need to be able to reach the toes, or you can take a strap and wrap it under the feet. Either way, we're going to hold this for 3 to 5 breaths. You're going to think about pulling the navel up and in, Uddiyana Bandha. Think about Pada Bandha, pressing the feet down and pulling on the toes with those arms. So there's a lot going on here, even though we're not moving. And breathe. Remember our mantra for today. My breath carries me deeper. Inhale, look up. Exhale, see if you can slide the hands under the feet and sink a little bit deeper. Remember, keeping a bend in the knees is going to protect that lower back, along with engaging the core. We're just breathing here. Bring the hands to the waist. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, stay. Inhale all the way up. Stepping the right foot out now for Trikonasana, triangle pose. I'm going to show you, if you happen to have a block, you have 3 different lengths you can use on your block, which can be great. So you can use the tallest variation, put it on its side a little bit lower, or put it on the lowest level. If you do not have a block, you can also just grab on the front of your leg right below the knee. Or if you can place the hand on the ground, or my personal favorite, wrap the peace fingers around the big toe. All variations are good. We're working on stacking one shoulder right above the other, tucking the chin and lifting the gaze to the fingertips. Wherever you bring your eyes is your Drisdi focus. So we're focusing right on the tips of the fingers. Drisdi just means focus or gaze point. Inhale up. And go ahead and swivel those feet around. Make sure those back toes are angled forward. And find triangle on the other side. Using a block, grabbing on the leg, maybe grabbing the toe. Lots of places you can hold. Working on stacking one shoulder above the other. Lift the gaze to those fingertips. Find that Drisdi focal point at the tips of your fingers. Maybe even Jalandhara Bandha if that's lengthening through the back of the neck. And all the way up. Exhale, release. Go ahead and find a low lunge now on the right side. Lengthen that left arm over. Nice long line of energy from the base of the foot all the way out through those fingertips. And the thigh is pressing into that bent arm just as much as the bent arm is pressing into the quad. Inhale all the way up. Press the hands together. Take a gentle twist. I'm just showing you from the other angle. That arm is pressing into your quad. As you inhale, you're lengthening through the back of the neck, Jalandhara Bandha. As you exhale, pressing deeper into the twist. My breath carries me deeper. Inhale all the way back up. And exhale to the other side. A nice long line of energy. From the base of your heel out through the fingertips. And breathe. Focusing all that energy in as you come up. Press the hands together. And exhale to take the twist. You can lift that back heel if you need. And breathe. Inhale, lengthening through the back of the neck, Jalandhara Bandha as we hold. Exhale, focusing on the twist. Maybe noticing those places where the arm and leg touch. Inhale up. Exhale, hands to your waist. And forward fold. The arms slide down the legs, grabbing on the calves or ankles as we lengthen the head towards the ground. Uddiyana Bandha here, that navel is pulling up and in to help you lengthen the tailbone away from the neck. Inhale, hands to the waist, half lift. Exhale, stay. Inhale all the way up. Walk those feet in. And taking a moment to think here, if you've been using your Ujjayi breath, I know there's been so much to think about, but try and find that breath again if you can. And preparing for pyramid pose. Bring the hands around to the back. We're working on palms touching. That's going to feel real intense on the forearms at first, so it's okay if you just have knuckles or fingertips touching. Some people like to grab their elbows. but I like to at least be touching fingertips because it helps me broaden through my shoulders. It'll keep you from letting those shoulder heads round forward. So we're broadening through the back. Pick your variation with those fingers. And lengthening out over that right leg. And breathe. Think of that Ujjayi breath. Nice deep breaths in and out through the nose. Inhale all the way up. Walk the feet around to the other side. And folding over the other leg. Nice stretch through the hamstrings. So good. Inhale all the way up. Roll the wrists out. Stretch those wrists out. Continue that nice deep breath. My breath carries me deeper. Find that Ujjayi breath. Now preparing for tree pose. I'm showing you a few different variations here. The foot can either be above or below the knee, never on the knee joint. Bring the hands to heart center, rooting down through that left leg. Think about Pada Bandha here. Inhale, maybe bringing the hands up to the sky. Imagine your tree growing branches with every inhale, and your tree putting down roots with every exhale. Our breath is anchoring us here. Bring those hands slowly back. Release the foot. Take a moment to roll out that ankle. And finding tree pose on the other side. Doesn't really matter where the foot is as long as it's not on the knee joint. And as you exhale, putting down roots through that opposite leg. Pada Bandha here. Inhale, reaching the arms up, lengthening with the inhale, putting down roots on the exhale. All of your bandhas are going to help you out here. Pulling in that pelvic floor, the navel, tucking the chin, lengthening through the back of the neck. And bringing the hands back to heart center. Exhale, release. Roll that ankle out. Keep that breath nice and slow. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands. We're just doing a little vinyasa transition here. Chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha. Exhale, Adho Mukha. And from here, floating that right leg forward. Exhale, extending back. Inhale, float forward. Exhale, extend back. Inhale, float forward. Exhale, extend back. We're just warming up that hip joint. Inhale all the way forward, coming down into pigeon pose. So a vinyasa is just a little set sequence, a little flow of movement. So that was our little vinyasa for pigeon. Option to place a block or stack of books under that hip. You can place it under either hip, the straight leg or the bent leg, if it's too intense. An option to stay up with the hands helping the leg. Otherwise, you can walk your arms all the way down and rest your forehead. This is a very intense glute stretch. We hold so much tension in our hips, it's nice to just let it go. With every exhale, letting gravity help you. Now walk those arms all the way back up. I'm just showing you really quick, as long as you keep that knee joint closed and together, you can bring the foot out further if you want it to be more intense. And exhale, shoot that leg up as high as it will go. Find downward dog. Now I'm just showing you really quick for anyone that was a little too uncomfortable. You can take figure 4 stretch instead. So go ahead and stay in downward dog if you're going to do the other side the same. If not, just watch this really quick. I'm showing you can do figure 4 stretch either seated or on your back to stretch out that hip in the same way. All right, let's go ahead and do the other side. Inhale, floating forward. Exhale, extending. Inhale, floating forward. Exhale, extending. Inhale and exhale. Inhale all the way through. Find pigeon pose on the other side, Kapotasana. Maybe walk those arms out if that feels all right. And breathe. Nice deep Ujjayi breath. Every exhale allows you to sink further into that hip joint. Inhale, walking the hands all the way up. Stretch that leg up and back as far as it will go. And coming down to the hands and knees for cat-cow pose. Rounding the breath back on the exhale. Inhale, arching the back. So we're just taking a moment here to give our shoulders and back some love. Wherever you're most sore, that's where you want to bring your attention, whether it be your neck and shoulders or your lower back. Moving with your breath, one movement. Inhale and exhale. Inhale to arch. Exhale to round. And sitting back into child's pose, knees can be together or knees can be wide. Maybe try both, see what feels better. And breathe. Child's pose is one of our most gentle forward folds. And it feels great after any kind of a back bend. Go ahead and come forward to hands and knees. Crouch back. Jump those feet forward, slide the feet through, sitting down. We're going to take a nice forward fold here. Go ahead and bring the right leg in. Inhale the arms up, exhale to fold. You can wrap your arm around that bent leg and take the bind if you would like. So I'm just showing you, I'm grabbing fingertips in the back. It's okay if the fingers don't quite touch, you can be reaching for the bind, or you can just have those arms forward and reaching, that front leg flexed. Or if you have a strap, maybe even grabbing it around the foot and pulling forward. And I'm just going to show you real quick from the front. You want to have at least a hand's width in between so there's room for those shoulders. Pressing down through that foot, that right hip is actually lifted up off the ground, and I'm pressing through the bottom of that straight leg to help me find enough space for the bind. I'm working on folding forward and breathe. Inhale up, exhale, release. Pull the other leg in, lengthening up, exhale to fold. Continue lengthening, or perhaps take the bind if it's in your practice. That just means if it feels right for you, for your personal practice. And breathe. Thinking about Jalandhara Bandha here, lengthening through the back of the neck as we fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, release. Go ahead and walk the feet in as close as you can get them for our first butterfly. And we want a nice long neck here. Tuck the chin, lengthen through the neck. Squeeze those knees down towards your mat. Nice deep breath. My breath draws me deeper. Inhale Now lengthen the heels away, make some space. Opening the tops of the feet like a book, and you're going to now round the back. Imagine you can place the top of the head right into that open book that is the bottoms of your feet. Stretching through the shoulders, through the hips, and inhale all the way up. Pulling the legs in now. And now I'm going to show you, this is full lotus posture. I'm going to tell you a secret. I couldn't do this posture 2 years ago. So I'm going to show you a preparation pose you can do to be able to get into full lotus. And I was just showing you, you want to be gentle on the knees and ankles. This pose can hurt the knees and ankles if we're forcing ourselves. So we don't want to ever force anything. So our preparation pose, you're going to bring that right leg around. And you want your foot hanging off the edge. You're going to lower that knee down as much as you can. It's okay if you need to keep it up like this. Totally fine. But if you can, you're working on slowly allowing that knee to lower and that foot to hang off the side. This will feel really intense in that hip. This is going to increase flexibility right there in that hip area, helping those muscles and tendons just soften a bit. That will prepare you for full lotus. This pose will prepare you for full lotus a lot quicker than just trying to force yourself into full lotus. Let's go ahead and try it on the other side. If you just do this one posture every day, you'll get into full lotus really quickly. I was just showing you, you want to make sure that foot is completely hanging off the edge to really be able to feel it in the hips. So I'm just showing you different places, finding that right sweet spot. So it's not quite cow face pose if you're familiar with that, with Gomukhasana. It's not quite Gomukhasana. We're just really adjusting it so that we'll feel the stretch only in that deepest part of the hip. Stretching those legs out now, flex and point the toes. Let's get some blood flow back in the legs. And if you'd like, you're welcome to try full lotus now. Be mindful of your knees, don't push into it if it hurts your knees at all. Or if you don't feel warm enough. Deepening that breath, remembering our intention. My breath draws me deeper. And slowly coming out, extending the legs, maybe point and flex those toes one more time. Let's take a nice forward fold. Your option, you can either be grabbing the ankles or the feet, or if there's any tension in that lower back, maybe you just wrap the arms under the knees and allow the back to soften. And inhale the arms up, exhale, rolling all the way down for bridge pose. We're strengthening our back here. Now I'm just showing you, you don't want your toes facing out or your knees splitting out. You want your feet parallel. You may even like to take your block or a textbook, place it between the feet. Maybe not quite a textbook, that might be a little too wide, but place it between the feet. You want your hips, your knees hip width apart. And now we're just pressing up onto the shoulders for bridge pose. Strengthening the back here. Core is engaged. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. Exhale, release all the way down. Take a nice deep breath. And now lifting the legs up. This is our most gentle inversion, legs up the wall. We're just going to take a moment to do some core work to strengthen our core for the inversions that will come in a few weeks. So finding a few breaths with legs up the wall. You can actually do this with your legs against a wall if you'd like. It can feel great at the end of a long day. And then now scooching away from a wall if you were close, and taking the time to lower and lift the legs. Inhale to lower, exhale to lift. Noticing the engagement of your core here. We're strengthening all those inner core muscles, specifically the transverse abdominis, and those muscles that are going to protect the lower back in our future shoulder stand and headstand. Try and get in at least 10. And hug those knees into your chest. Take a few rocks side to side. Gentle back massage here. And gentle knee twist. Rolling those knees over to your right side, extending the left arm out, looking out over the left shoulder. And perhaps the right hand stays on top of those knees, just helping you into this gentle twist. Inhale back to center. And exhale over to the other side. And breathe. Pull those knees in. Take a few more rocks side to side. And option to keep the knees up for Shavasana if there's any discomfort in the lower back. Or you can bring the soles of the feet together for supine butterfly. That can also feel wonderful on the lower back. Or go ahead and extend the arms and legs out all the way if that feels comfortable for a full Shavasana. Now, my favorite part of practice, our guided meditation. I'm going to start it with a bell and end with a bell. Today's guided meditation is simply to help you relax a little bit more. Begin to notice your natural breath. When in Shavasana, we don't do the Ujjayi breath, we just become a silent observer to our own natural breath and our own natural thoughts. So if at any point you find your mind becoming distracted, thinking about what it needs to do next, or just wandering, notice what you're thinking about and be the silent observer, and gently bring your mind back to your natural breath. Nice deep inhale, feel air filling up the stomach and lungs. Exhale, feel that air leaving your body, chest and stomach sinking. Inhale, chest and stomach rises. Exhale, chest and stomach falls. Just take a moment to notice how your body feels also after your practice. You've given your body a lot of love and attention, paying attention to so many small details of posture and alignment, things that will pay off in future classes, that will help you master even the most difficult postures. So take a moment, one last time, to bring your mind back to that intention from the beginning of class, that mantra, my breath carries me deeper. And this time, let your breath carry you deeper into relaxation. With every exhale, feel your arms and legs growing heavy, sinking just a little bit deeper into your mat or into the floor beneath you. Inhale, feel yourself expanding into the space around you. Exhale, feel yourself continuing to grow heavy, sinking down into your mat. With every breath, the body relaxes. And with every breath, the mind relaxes into this moment, letting go of anxieties, letting go of fears, letting go of whatever you might need to do after this. Allow your body and mind to have these next few minutes to really be here, to breathe. As you continue to focus on deepening the breath, relaxing the body, the next few minutes, I'm going to allow you just to breathe, be in the peace and silence of your own heart and mind. Just take a moment to notice what you feel. You have 3 minutes of complete and absolute silence to breathe and to just pay attention. When you begin to hear the music again, it will be time to start waking back up, coming back out of relaxation practice. Maybe take a nice stretch overhead. And slowly roll over to your favorite side, taking a few more deep breaths here. It's amazing the amount of peace that can come when we just take the time to move in and out of activities slowly. Whatever we go into slowly, we come out of slowly. A nice slow awakening. With the next inhale and the eyes still closed, gently press yourself back up to seated. Take a few final breaths with the eyes closed in a comfortable seated position, mentally preparing yourself, filling yourself up with energy and enthusiasm for whatever comes next in your day. Whenever you're ready, slowly open your eyes. As we end class, we always take a moment to say namaste. This just means the light within me honors the light within you. It's a moment to acknowledge each other, a simple bow in respect for the time that we've shared. As teacher and student, or an acknowledgement of those around you who are also practicing with you. Thank you, everyone. Namaste. May you stay healthy and well.